Yeah, humbling. Tough night, no doubt, no doubt. It was not a fun trip, but a learning trip. A night that we won't soon forget, or I won't. I hope our players do. Did a lot of really good things. It's funny. I really walked off the court at halftime down 17. Felt great. 12 or 14 from two against the number one defense in the country, and then look up and we're down 17. And it was challenging because I thought I thought of our 16 threes, I thought two were hard. And KJ takes some hard ones and makes them, and so we're going to live with some of those. But you make 5 of those, and it's a 2-point game, and that's 30%. So the second half got off to a horrendous start, and I thought Kylan Boswell, the job he did on Cooper was special. Knocked the ball away from him 3 or 4 times, had him thoroughly frustrated. But they were good, and they're as good a team as we have seen. They reminded me a little bit of the UConn team last year, just in terms of I thought they were extremely, extremely physical. They've got grown man bodies. I thought their role players, if you want to call them that, Khan and Mason and Sion, they're just so physically strong and look like defensive ends. So, and I thought that impacted us. And then their shot making, off the flares. So, tough night we got to bounce back from, night we've got to learn from. It obviously wasn't our best night, and probably not at the greatest timing for us in terms of lack of practice and so on. But nobody cares about that, and we'll be better for it, and we'll keep these guys hungry and fighting. And now we get Iowa, who's got 2 of the premier wing players in our conference, and Dix and Sanford. Both those guys are elite scorers. Iowa plays in the random, as I call it, as well as anybody in the country in terms of just finding offense. They've got a loss with Owen out. They've adapted very well to that in terms of finding a way to play. Play a lot of guards, and still mix up defenses. Play zone, play the press, play man. So we'll see it all. We'll have to adjust to that, and back to Big Ten play.
Coach, what have you seen from your team's defense over the last few weeks? Are there some points of emphasis or some common denominators there?
Well, we're really small. You lose Merez. You play a lot without Tommy. I thought Tommy was tremendous, on the defensive side in a game that was very tough, with 3 blocks, with playing downhill, and drop. I think those are things that we've got to have guys in practice. As you guys know, when you don't have the ability to practice, you all are smart guys. When you don't have the ability to practice, you don't have the ability to change. And Tommy's a quarterback. He's got to, he's the communicator. He's got to communicate every ball screen coverage and handle that. And when you don't have him in practice, there's no sense trying to change stuff that will impact everybody else. So we haven't had that opportunity, and I thought their guards were really physical in terms of Dukes. But and the most disappointing thing on the defensive side was we fouled too much, especially in the first half. But it's different. We're playing some different guys in different positions that we've got away from since Merez hasn't been with us. But we'll handle that stuff accordingly.
You talked in New York about maybe losing a little bit defensive bite. Is there an area you see or feel that you notice when it's not there?
Well, you don't replace 6'9", 250, as you know. You guys have watched enough of his games. He's strong, he's athletic, he's physical. You know, there's no one to replace that with, and you know, there's an aggressiveness that goes with that. There's an attitude that goes with that. There's a comfort for the other guys. I think that you know, we feel great about Bam and KJ, knowing that you know, we've got two very physical guards. We've been very physical all year when we've had those three. You know, Tommy weighed in to have a game at 236. He's played most of the year at 248. You know, that takes a toll as well. So again, I think our defensive stuff has been more about just lack of practice and having guys. And as you guys know, you get sick and you don't feel good. Your energy's not near as good. And now we're at least back to being able to have some guys in practice so we get some things done that are positive.
On that note, where do you feel like Tommy's at in terms of how he's feeling, his energy, as far as conditioning and everything like that?
Conditioning's probably 65-70%. We went yesterday. We practiced yesterday, and you know, it's the thing that goes into it with Tommy is, you know, he's still got a rolled ankle, he's still got, you know, purple ankle, and so just time. You know, with we got an academic load where he goes all morning. He comes to practice, not being able to get shots up like he used to because he's getting treatment on his ankle, or he's in a hyperbaric chamber because he's had mono. You know, he told me after the game, he goes, "Coach, I've probably shot, you know, 15 balls in the last, you know, month." All of those little things add up, but he's tougher than nails, and you know, he's our audio piece. He's our coordinator defensively, and getting him back is a big part of it. But you know, he's still, you know, he's probably 70%, 75%, but you know, it gets better every day.
You mentioned Saturday about Kylan maybe needing to make this his team. What's that look like from his end?
I think he's just a guy that everybody respects. I think he's a guy that he's got to, when we're really good, he's really vocal. He's very energized. He's very into timeouts. He's very into the game that way. It's not him taking a back seat to anybody. And, you know, that's always been, we've always had those guys. I think it's just him, you know, as a veteran who's been in big games and has been in moments like this and has the experience, just stepping up and leading. And he's doing that in both a way that is accountability for other players, and then in a positive way when guys do stuff good. So that just has to be very consistent from him. I think it's you know, as we head into the, you know, the tail end of the season here and postseason, I think it's his time and time to do that.
What, if anything, do you and the coaches have to do? And you have guys with leadership qualities, him, Dre, KJ, that haven't maybe had to have that role at this level. What do you do to maybe usher some of that forward?
Just encourage. You can't force that. You know, it's you know, I use it this way sometimes, and you know, when I speak is you know, it's everything's great when you're an assistant coach until you slide one seat over and have to make all the decisions, and you can't. Some people just don't do that very well, and it's the same way with leadership. You can't force it. You have to encourage it. You have to find it organically. They have to want to do that. Being a leader is really, really, really hard, and it takes some thought. It takes some interaction that maybe sometimes you don't want to have, and I think some players just aren't comfortable with that. But when you see those qualities in people, then you have to reach out and really encourage it.
This is a typical Fran team in terms of tempo, pace, and scoring. What are some challenges there?
The randomness. You can guard everything right in their actions, and then they get into their random motion. And you know, he's got very, very good shot makers, and you know, his teams are always so prolific from you know, on the offensive end. And then, you know, you're going to see their zone, and you're going to see their press, and they do as good a job of wiping out a 10-point lead as anybody in the country, and they don't ever panic, and they just play within that Fran mentality of the randomness being excellent, in my opinion.
Talked about being 12 or 14 from 2 in the first half. Did you like how that went, or what? How would you replicate it? I suppose would be a better way to ask in the second half.
You don't. The other team has a lot to do with that, and it's, we saw a 5-man guard Trey. The other team counters that. Those gaps got really, really tight. And you don't get 12 of 14 if you're not shooting threes. And, you're not, there was a time I think we were 1 of 10 and twos in the second half, same shots. But they got really, really hard to do that. Tommy has to be on the floor, to be very honest, for those things to happen. You saw the layups, the cuts. One of those misses was Trey on a point-blank layup. Tommy's got to be on the floor. You've got to shoot threes. And, like I said, if you make them, then they keep staying out there. We weren't making them, and all of a sudden those gaps got really tight, and they're very physical, and it wasn't where we could we could penetrate those as easy. So the other team has a lot to do with that, and we're going to take, like I said, we're going to take what's there. We're still, I think, 16th offensively. It's you go 2 for 26, and you only fall a couple spots. Like I said, I felt great about the shots against that quality of defense.
One of the things you said was we miss a shot, at least with this team, we miss a shot and our head goes down, and the energy goes down. That seems antithesis to what you built this whole thing about. Has that been hard to coach out of this team this year?
Yeah, and I think that the other thing is it magnifies, because then you've got to go get stops on the other end, and then when you're playing from behind, and you're playing from a 8-2 deficit, or you're playing from teams hit 2 in a row. When we've been great, we get stops and we can run, and we've proven we're electric at doing that. But it's when our shots flow better. It's when we're literally at our best. But at some point there's no excuses. I watch every single day, and as you guys know, I've said it's from day one. I believe in these guys as shooters. I think we're great shooters. At some point, you got to step up and be able to make it. And I can buy, one guy missing and having an off day, but when it becomes a collective group, then we got to man up. We got to make shots, and we've done that. I think we're 15-3 or 14-4 when we make 7, just 7, and that's not a hard number to do, but we can't let one turn into 2, and it's make this one and forget about it if you miss it, and make the next one when it's your time.
Can you feel like this team can, when the shots aren't falling? You've said before, offense is fewer. Like, we can control what we do on defense. Do you feel like you can get that back this level?
Oh, absolutely. I think we've lost a little bit of edge defensively. I think we've I don't think there's any question about that. I think I said defense is way harder to coach than offense. All you guys want to talk about is offense, and offense and shots and this and that. That means 0 to me. Okay, if we go offensive rebound and we play hard, we're going to win. And those over the years are the analytics. We've lost some edge defensively, and that's happened because of practice. And like I said, you guys know, Lauren was sick. Hell, he was walking around like death for 2 weeks. When you don't have any energy, and you don't have any vibe and any positivity, it takes a lot out of you. And defense is about an aggression, and it's about an energy, and it's about a chemistry that has to happen. Then take your leader on the defensive side out of that for a long time, and we took a hit, and there's no doubt. And you lose Merez, a physical piece, who's been asked to guard. I was disappointed for Merez, because I've been talking all year about him guarding Cooper, and he doesn't get that opportunity. So, it's just it's some things happen, but we've got to get that bite back. We've got to get that edge back.
Coach still sitting at number 23 in the net, but how important is this game in terms of solidifying your spot?
It's the next one. I mean, we had 7 quad 1 wins. We played one of the top 10 toughest schedules in the country. I mean, I worry about Iowa and whatever happens, and our net's great. That's what we've played for. It's the new world. It's not about the league championships or whatever they are, however they come. And in these massive leagues, it's about getting in the tournament, positioning yourself to be playing your best. And Iowa's the next one on the schedule, and I'll always be that way in terms of looking at the next game on the schedule. And they're a typical Fran team, and they're good.
Brad, you said last month, some to the extent of maybe you wear losses harder now than you have in the past. Taking 2 by a big margin. What's been your response?
The margin doesn't matter to me. That was humbling. I'm a really bad loser. My sleep score was 52 last night, and that was the most sleep I've had. And the night after the game, I didn't sleep, and I take losing really, really hard. There's no one in it means a lot to me, and I think life is about winners and losers, and you're either one or the other, and I don't like it, and I don't want them to like it, and I don't want them to accept it. And it's the way we built this program. Does it take a toll on me? Absolutely. It kicks my ass. Losing something I'm not wired for, and you want to solve problems, and I can't shut my brain off at night. I put my head on a pillow, my brain gets going 100, and I can't shut that down. And it's what it is. I'll finally probably sleep good tonight, but shaking a loss is really hard, and maybe I should care less, but I don't, and I don't want our players to dwell on it. I don't want them to feel it. Let me have all that burden, and let's then get ready for the next game. But I know what this team's capable of, so I always believe that. I always know where we're at, and I just want to keep helping them get there. And so that's why I don't sleep.
How do you think the players' response has been since that Duke game?
Good. We were awesome yesterday in practice. The energy's great. This team believes. They know what we've gone through. The outside world, it's easy to write about a loss or and I have so little respect for that when you don't know and you're not here. The players are phenomenal. This is a great group, and they're bought in, and it's just it's a fickle game. It can change from one night to the next, and our next job is to go 1-0 and try to do the best we can to go 1-0, and they've been awesome.
Housekeeping issues. I know Jake was puking in the locker room in Madison. Do we think he's on the other side of that?
He is. Jake's on. Today will be. Yesterday was probably the best day we have felt. In terms of the flu bug and the Merez is obviously on the mend, but the illness part I think is at its best place it's been.
Brad, when you're going through a wave of injuries and illnesses, how do you guys as a staff kind of determine what's directly related to that versus stuff that maybe you would like to fix if at full health, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean, it's been very minimal what we can fix because we don't have everybody. And the hardest challenge to do that is, we went through a 2-week stretch where we literally didn't know we hadn't practiced. When Tommy was out, it was okay. Who's playing the 5? Who's playing the 4? How we're a little smaller. And that was Merez, and we're playing a little different with him. And so it's just been a hodgepodge, so to speak, of the practice side. What we can change has been very limited. And we're a younger team, so we're trying not to throw a whole lot of change out there. Make some adjustments that help you win a game. But the continuity and flow of being able to make changes like we could last year is completely different with this group, and the illnesses have been the major reason for that.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Coach.